Okay, so there are a lot of important qualities to base a character on, but we're looking at the top of the list. That's right, we're looking for the greatest video characters is mustaches. This is a list about mustaches. Rufus is an obese American kung fu fighter who declares himself America's greatest fighter, as well as the best looking too. He also considers Ken Masters, one of the game's main protagonists, his rival. He fights to prove he is better than Ken, and frequently mistakes other fighters for Ken.
Hey, what's Ken Masters doing here? He's here? He's right there, with that broad, and that stupid hair!
Comrade, that is not Ken Masters. Look at that man. He's lumpy.
Throughout the years, he has managed to create his own style of kung fu. He did this by studying various kung fu books and movies, as well as spending years studying in China. His own founded style takes advantage of his extreme weight, strength, and agility. Agility being what he has the most of. I love this character because the stereotype for larger characters seems to be slow but powerful, whereas Rufus breaks the mold by being one of the quickest characters in the game. But we're not here for backstory or fighting style, we're here for his upper lip service, in which he services with surplus. That's right, Rufus's mustache looks like a blonde Mia Wallace slapped in the middle of his face. You've got to admit that Rufus's bromerang is the icing atop of what makes him so goddamn awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The name's Wily, the one and only, the brilliant scientist, Dr. Wily. It may seem rather sudden to you, but I've decided to take over the world. Anyway, to begin. Dr. Light, I'll be taking your precious robots.
Dr. Wily is the main antagonist in the Mega Man games. But did you know that the wannabe supervillain once worked hand in hand with Dr. Light, the creator of the main protagonist Mega Man? That's right, they both worked together in the Robert University of Technology. However, Dr. Wily soon became a bitter rival during their professional lives. This was because, although Dr. Wily won many awards in his time, Dr. Light always upstaged him, leaving Wily's pride a shattered pile of mess his whole life. Put your hand up if you've ever worked on a group project just to have all of the credit go to one person. Yeah, it sucks. So naturally, Dr. Wily then used his genius to steal all of their created robot masters and reprogrammed them for evil. Dr. Wily resembles the stereotypical mad scientist, but that mustache he's rocking. Damn! Like for reals, if he created robots as perfect as his flowing crumb catcher, he'd have taken over the world with flawless ease. What qualities would you want the king of all cosmos to have? Flamboyant? Forgetful? An underlying passion for rolling up objects? If you answered yes to all of the above, then have I got news for you. Meet the king of all cosmos, the man with the title for a name, I guess. Anyway, this guy had a pretty interesting backstory. When he was younger, his father, and then king of all cosmos, raised him as a competitor. When he entered a junior league boxing match and came second place, the king threw the silver trophy off the bridge, leaving his kid devastated. The kid then got in a fight with a gang, and, using the skills attained from his father, fought them all off. However, one of the gang members sliced off a chunk of his pompadour with a knife. Distraught, he wandered around outside, meeting his future wife and queen. When he returned home, his father would not accept his new love as he saw his son as a born fighter. In a fit of rage, he swung at the kid, who, for the first time, punched his father. His papa simply dusted himself off and walked into his room. Later, the kid peeked in and saw his father staring affectionately at the second place trophy he had thrown in the river all those years ago. The kid burst into tears and received a hearty pat on the back from his papa. Fast forward, he is the king of all cosmos and married to his wife and queen. They had their first child, aptly named Prince, and taught this kid a made-up game called Katamari Damacy, in which you roll up things using a magical ball. After the king, in a drunken accident, destroyed all of the stars in the sky, he sent his son to roll things up to be made into new stars. But this isn't all that happened to the king when he grew up. Not only did he get an addition of a firstborn, he also got a rockin' mustache. Now the thing that the king has over all the other entries so far is how trim he keeps his lip sweater. The king of all cosmos' mustache is by far the most well kept, cleanest tash with the coolest pointy bits to date. Well built, impeccable, immaculate. This mustache is the epitome of lip foliage. But who is the knight strong enough to wield such flawlessness? None only but the fierce fighting gentleman, Dudley. Dudley, from the Street Fighter games, is an English boxer born into a wealthy family. His father before him was a highly paid athlete who then went on to become a successful businessman, only adding to his already vast amount of wealth. Dudley, from a young age, wanted to be a fighter, but his family told him he was too small to compete. Later down the road, his father lost his business and family fortune. This prompted Dudley to take up professional boxing in order to earn back their losses. He trained until he became a formidable boxer in both body and skill, successfully bringing his family back in affluence. Dudley still fights on, seeking to perfect himself both in and out of the ring. He has never been anything less than an impeccable gentleman. While Ryu is often seen as the wandering Ronin of the video game series, Dudley is definitely the chivalrous knight. The mark of a true gentleman with this character is definitely his sophisticated mustache. The composition of his mustache curls looks almost tailor-made to match his hair. Everything about this mustache just adds to his already awesome nature. Okay, this is the 5th entry on the list and we're already back to evil doctors. This time we're looking into one of Sega's most beloved franchises, Sonic. Yes, that's right, number 5 is Dr. Eggman? Dr. Robotnik? Dr. Handsome? Because you know a mustache adds 120% more handsome to the individual wearing it. What more is there to say? I'm pretty sure most of you have seen this character at some point or another. The actual character of, I'm gonna call him Dr. Eggman for this vid. The actual character of Dr. Robotnik was conceived when Sega had its department come up with a character to replace Alex Kidd as the company's mascot and compete with Nintendo's flagship, Mario. The character created was Sonic the Hedgehog. When creating the baddie of the franchise, they wanted a character who was the complete opposite of Sonic. A character who represented machinery and development to play on the then growing debate between developers and environmentalists. They also wanted Eggman to be easy for children to draw. One thing I like about Dr. Robotnik's mustache is how it hides the fact he doesn't really have any other hair. I mean, not accounting for what possible hair he may or may not have underneath his clothes. I don't really want that kind of thing on my search history. He doesn't really have any other visible hair or eyebrows. Also, props to Eggman for wearing sunglasses as well as having goggles at the ready on his head. I grew up watching Sonic Underground. I've seen him without his glasses on. It's scary. Even today. If there was ever a family Jerry Springer needed to fix, it would be the Mishimas. Now, I don't want to point fingers, but I can pretty much point most, if not all blame, on Heihachi Mishima. Now, where do we begin? Well, first of all, Heihachi is the son of Jinpachi, a famous martial artist who founded the Mishima Zaibatsu company. Many years before the Tekken game, Heihachi overthrew his father and sought to control the company and change it to be an industrial one. Jinpachi attempted to stage a coup and retake his former company, but Heihachi quickly captured and imprisoned him below the Mishima compound, Honorary, and left him to starve to death. Years down the line, in an attempt to eliminate his son's weaknesses, he tossed his 5-year-old son, Kazuya, down a deep ravine with the notion that if Kazuya was truly his son, he would be able to survive the fall and climb back up. To further motivate Kazuya, Heihachi adopted Chinese orphan Li and raised him as a rival to his biological son. After Kazuya travelled abroad and became an undefeated champion, the 52-year-old Heihachi announced the King of the Iron Fist tournament in order to test him. Kazuya won the tournament, tossed Heihachi off the same cliff, and assumed control of the Zaibatsu. Heihachi survived the event, went to train and meditate extensively, and returned 2 years later in the second tournament to defeat his son and toss Kazuya's body into a volcano to kill him. Honestly, these two seem to be throwing each other off higher and higher edges. Okay, fast forwarding here. Heihachi takes control of the Mishima Zaibatsu again, forms the Tekken Force, an elite army whose actions would ultimately lead to world peace. 15 years later, in an Aztec temple in Mexico, finds a mysterious being called Ogre, realizes Ogre has immortal blood and seeks a way to create unlimited life, finds out he has a grandson named Jin Kazama, who begs Heihachi to train him to be able to defeat Ogre, who had previously killed Jun, Jin's mom. Heihachi agrees. 4 years later, announces the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3 to lure Ogre out. Jin defeats Ogre. Heihachi betrays and attempts to kill Jin, but Jin turns into a devil and knocks Heihachi out. Are you keeping up so far? Heihachi collects Ogre's remains, attempts to combine his DNA with Ogre's, but needs his son's and grandson's devil gene. Unable to find Jin, he finds Kazuya's, being resurrected by the G Corporation. To lure them out, Heihachi jumps 30,000 feet into the air and uses eagle vision to find them. Nah, just kidding, he holds a 4th Iron Fist tournament. Seriously, they should just scrap these missing person posters and hold fighting tournaments. Seems to be the best way to find people these days. Jin gets captured upon arrival, Heihachi gets defeated by Kazuya in the finals, takes him to Honorary, and later both Kazuya and Heihachi get defeated by Jin. Immediately after Jin leaves, an army of G Corporation Jack 4s invade, self-destructing, seemingly killing Heihachi, when in actual fact, it blew him a great distance away, knocking him out during the 5th King of the Iron Fist tournament. Oh, and all this while cruising with a sweet, sweet tash. Okay, before we get to number 1, here's some honourable mentions. Dampierre, or Lord Geo Dampierre, a character in the Soul Calibur games wielding 2 concealed punching daggers. His mustache rides higher than the bottom of his top hat. That's swag. Revolver Ocelot, a reoccurring character throughout most of the Metal Gear series, rocking a glorious gunslinger mustache to match his gunslinging styles. And Mike Hagar, quite possibly the most badass mayor in any city ever. When a gang plays Metro City, he literally gets up from his mayor chair and heads to the streets to clean up. Accompanying this brute is the brute of a mustache, serving only to add to his badassery. Now, for the last entry, the mustache you've all been waiting for. But who could take the crown? Whose mustache is beef enough to beat all of the other entries on this list? Let's see if you can guess. He's cute, he's tall, he's got gorgeous eyes and a stunning smile. Did you guess it yet? He came into your head, didn't he? That's right, as far as mustaches go, Waluigi rocks it hard. In fact, his mustache almost looks like one of Bobo's nose hair attacks. But no, the pristine edges, the cut angles, and sharp points. Everything's right with his upper lip ostery. created solely to be the antithesis to Luigi, Waluigi is said to be a mischievous and cunning man who dislikes the happiness of other characters. The cornerstone of his character is one of self-pity, a person who feels that everything goes right for everyone but himself. He's the same age as Luigi, with an upside down L on his head that parallels Luigi's L. Although it is not officially said whether Waluigi and Wario are brothers, Waluigi's creator, Marinette, stated that they were just two nice, evil guys who found each other. Although he has never featured in his own game like Wario has, he is still very much beloved, and I can't help but contribute towards his absolute perfection of a mustache. Like seriously, anyone who can grow an upside down Fu Manchu deserves all the love and attention, even though he doesn't believe it himself. So I hope you enjoyed this week's list, and if you did, leave a like. And if you think this list is a bit out of character, that's because it is. I got Matt to write a list for me under the instruction of make it a good one, and this is what he came out with. Seriously, a list about video game characters' mustaches. I have liberty of the outro, so that's why I'm taking advantage of it to explain all of this. But seriously, I do hope you enjoy the list, and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see tackled in the future.